good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is the one and only Mike Nelson Show. I have worked hard to gain 13,000 subs. No easy feat, and I don't take it for granted. My channel is very unique, and I will lay claim to that. I am transparent, genuine, honest. I talk about my flaws. I talk about what's wrong with society. I'm not afraid to grapple and tackle issues such as the African American community dynamic within the United States, the Asian dynamic in Hong Kong, the feminist dynamic in first world countries. I'm not afraid to deal with the elephant in the room that most people in America will not talk about. I have lost my job for telling the truth on my time, and it had nothing to do with the level of commitment and good work ethic that I put into that job. People from that job still to this day call, contact me, wave at me, see me in public. None of them are looking at me as if though I'm some racist clown, because I'm not. Last night, I did a live video talking about critics. You know, what drives people to like? I don't know if anybody can hear me. If you can, I'm not trying to chump for cheap likes, but if I can be heard, please hit the like so I can at least tell. Sometimes YouTube glitches out. I'm trying to see if I'm getting if you can hear any audio here. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I'm going to get into some thunder today. You might want to listen. It's going to inflame people. It's going to anger people. And that's not my intent. My intent is to tell the truth. Let me give a little history. So last night I talked about several women in my chat, some regulars, got upset. And I'm going to be honest, one acted ridiculous in the room. Somebody I've known. And I'm going to say that. They went public, I'm going public. It should have been something discussed between me and that person privately. And I've noticed in society, everybody values freedom of speech until my freedom of speech says something truthful that annoys somebody, then I'm wrong. Yeah, that one. And I talked about a channel artist. And I'm not criticizing her, though I will be very honest. She's not what I call a cuddle muffin. She's not what I call a cutie. And her channel hasn't been up, 3 months? And it's exploding. She's living in a little tiny $800 trailer she purchased. And I subscribe to her. Her simple living, stuff like that. We're going to show pictures. She had a video the other day saying she got 20,000 subs. Now, I want to do something. I'm wearing a dress. I'm wearing a slip and lipstick. I'm a grown 60-year-old man doing this. I have received lots of criticism. Family members, Christians, non-Christians, Democrats, Republicans, atheists, people have jumped all over this issue. They love to quote this. Now, watch what I'm going to do. We're going to do a little sleight of hand here. They love to quote this. And let's take something and let's do what people do. Nor shall a man put on woman's clothing, for whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. They never quote the first part of that verse. They never quote to me the first part of that verse. Verse 5, chapter 22, Deuteronomy says this. If the fan doesn't blow my Bible shut. A woman, see, even God believes ladies first. A woman shall not wear man's clothing, nor shall a man. Let's show you some fun, shall we? There's a channel called Apache Goddess. I don't hate her. I am not being rude in what I say. That's what she looks like. Native American. Claims to be a Christian. Channel has the moniker, All to the Glory of God. My question is a couple things. If you're a child of God, why are you calling yourself a goddess? It's not okay. Number two, we're going to show some other photos. Is that feminine? Her movements throughout her video channel are manly. Her dress, manly. Her speech, there's nothing feminine about her. Nothing. This is a side view of her. The gauges and the tattoos, looking like one of the guys out of a biker bar. She's a toughie. She doesn't do things sweetly. There's no sweetness there. I subscribe to her because she makes living simple exciting. Makes me think I should sell my house, get a 25-foot travel trailer, but I know some things. You go rent in a campground, you might as well be paying apartment rent. It ain't cheap. Hook up to utilities, that costs. Really hard. So anybody that can spotlight simple living, cost effectiveness, they got my attention. But I noticed something. Not one woman, not one man on her channel is quoting Deuteronomy 22:5. A woman shall not dress like a man. Why? Why is that? Why the silence? Let's showcase some others in our society, shall we? Women and men are not treated equally in the United States. Look at this. That looks like one of the chicks, right? Looks like somebody you want to take to the prom when you're in high school. That looks like somebody definitely going to treat you like a lady. I wrote some notes. Her net worth is $5 million. She's dating a chick. And women want to argue with me and say they're not treated fairly in the U.S., so let's roll out the beautiful bean footage of the facts. Brittany Griner was arrested in Russia for having possession of drugs. Kind of stupid. You got a passport, you go to another country, you don't do that stuff. She's privileged. Joe Biden personally let her out. If I had gone to Russia and had drugs on my possession, I'd be sitting in there. Don't tell me that women are treated ill compared to men in this society. White males today in America are crapped on by the Democrat-led media, by the public education system, by Hollywood. And what is really fascinating about that is the media is owned by rich white media moguls. But they've been peddling this idea that we are racist, that we are privileged, and we are the reason for all of the problems. They've said we're white supremacists, we're skinheads. And guess what's happening? Not only this woman, but her entire race gets preferential treatment in the United States today. Absolutely. Absolutely. In the workplace, in the schools, in our society. Never mind the statistics within the 13 percenters. Never mind the stats about violent crime where they're killing each other. They don't want to talk about that. Isn't that a sweetie? Doesn't she look like a hottie? Looks like one of the boys. Let's move on about protection. Here's another one. That looks like somebody you want to bring home to mom. Hey, mom, check out my girlfriend. Looks like arms folded, face. That beautiful hair dye, she totally looks feminine, right? She tramples the flag. Megyn Kelly's worth estimated $45 million. Complained that women don't get paid the same in sports. Huh. She is as anti-American as you can get. How about this cutie? Isn't she a honey doll? You know who that is? She's the one that cried and ran to Ireland, and she's crying over there because nobody worships her. Good old Rosie O'Donnell. Let's talk about her net worth. 80 to $123 million. 80 to $123 million. What does she give society? She's lesbian. What does she give society? I'm not attacking. I'm just stating facts. What did she do that benefited our society and all of us Americans as a whole? Nothing. Anybody know who that is? That's Rosie. All right, excuse me. That's, I can remember. Roseanne Barr. Oh, she voted for Trump. Now, I didn't look up her net worth. What did she give society? Nothing. Nothing. These people have lived the life they've wanted to live, and I'm sorry, she's not graced with prettiness. I'm going to say it. I'm better looking in a dress than all those women I've just shown. As a man, stay with me, people. This is going to get exciting. This is going to get exciting. Here's another honey doll. Isn't that pretty? She totally looks feminine, right? Ellen DeGeneres, you know what her worth is? $500 million. I mean, she was cute as a voiceover for Dory and Finding Nemo, but what did she give society? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. $500 million for that. I work harder than she does, physically. You think I'd ever be worth $500 million? You think I'll ever be worth $1 million? Women fuss and cry about unequal treatment. Absolutely. They'll throw money at this, but they won't throw it at me. For the first time in the history of my channel, somebody gave a generous donation. But I'm not one of those big boys rolling in the money. I don't know who the donor is. Don't know if it's male or female. This one. You want to talk about privilege? Let's talk about that. Oprah Winfrey is worth $3.4 billion, has 8 mansions. She votes Democrat. She funded Barack Obama, threw a lot of money at him. She sides with a party that's complaining about global warming and stuff, and she lives in 8 mansions. Are you serious? How much does it cost for the HVAC of those homes? She bought a home for $90 million in Montecito, California. You need a house worth $90 million? She's a spoiled brat. How'd she make her money? Does anybody remember? Now I'm 60. Does anybody remember when I got home from school? I was a kid. Okay, I wanted to watch Speed Racer. Not Phil Donahue, but Phil Donahue was on in the 70s. Phil Donahue never made as much as she did. He was one of the first. Not the first, but one of the first talk show guys. TV. Oprah talks about white privilege. The bulk of the people in her Showtime were white housewives. The bulk of her money came from that. She's worth $3.4 billion. She had the gall to tell people to donate to the Lahaina victims in Hawaii when the fire raced through there. She owns property there. Zuckerberg owns property there. If you want to get ahead in life, sell your soul to the devil, register as a Democrat, compromise your values, you will make good money. Fact. I behold it. What about the ministry? We're not going to talk about Joel Osteen. We will talk about Paula White. The estimated is 40 million. The verified is 5 to 10 million. Paula White really preaches the truth, right? Donald Trump chose her as the White House pastor. She's so full of theological falsehoods, it's not even funny. Let's move on. I didn't bother to look up Whoopi. She's worth a lot too. She's a pretty honey doll. How'd you like to snuggle muffin with that? Naked in bed. No thanks. She runs her mouth constantly. She made a comment on The View minimizing the Holocaust, saying that blacks went through way more than the Jews did. She didn't get fired for that. Anybody remember Katie Couric? Katie Couric on national television said Christians should be thrown to the lions. That's back in the 90s. She get fired and lose her job for that? Not at all. Ilhan Omar stands on the House floor years ago railing against Jews. Everything she said was racist and anti-Semitic. Not one Democrat male gavel hit that said, hey, you can't do that. I lost my job at a predominantly 53% black Augusta, Georgia, in Richmond County, as a faithful, solid employee. No complaints about my work, attendance, or service. Nobody went to management saying that I was a racist or a danger to blacks. Women hugged me at the pumps. Women gave me tips. Just doing my job. Black women. One still frequents my channel to this day. I talked about a white woman being attacked by 6 African Americans. Where's CNN? Where's MSNBC? Where's PBS? They're not interested in news. They're interested in spin. This woman here has opened her mouth and said some inflammatory, false things. You want to talk about privilege? Look at the show called The View. All ugly women, all don't know how to dress right, put on way too much makeup to hide all the flaws. Joy Behar, one of the most disgusting females on the television set. How about Rachel Maddow? Full-blown lesbian. She looks like a real sweet, feminine, lovely. The reason I say this, people come on my channel, criticize, judge, hatred, because I'm wearing this. Nobody says a word to her. Walks like, talks like, acts like, lives like, dresses like, carries herself. She is fully man acting. How come I don't see I see the women? You're great, sister. God's using you, sister. Thank you for sharing the word, sister. And that's something. But I tell the word of God in fire and brimstone and quote right out of it. How can you call yourself a Christian and wear that clothing? Is there anywhere in the Bible that says, if Michael Nelson wears a dress, he's surely going to hell? Show me the verse. Show it to me. I'm waiting. Not one person has gone to her channel and quoted Deuteronomy 22:5. I have lived 60 years in America. There is preferential treatment given to LGBT, to African Americans, to women. Even women that act like, dress like, talk like men. I dress female. The criticism, the hatred. There's a whole channel devoted to me. Femias, a transgender, self-claiming. The guy claiming to be a girl has vitriolic hatred towards me. And I watch another channel guy who called him to defend a personal friend of his, but will not do the same for me. They're what they call rage baiters. One of my moderators is friends with this guy. He's been silent. This friend has been generous to me, been supportive of me. He brought her into it and she even said, Mike needs to learn to ignore this guy. This coming from a woman who speaks her mind right now. A dark cloud has come over the United States of America. If you're going to judge people and you're going to judge men for dressing like this, then you better jolly well have something to say about that. That's all I'm asking. Otherwise, shut it. You better jolly well have something to say about this. Or this. Or this. These people are making lots of money. Don't tell me that women are not favored in society. Cardi B, a trashy lyrical content musician. I had a black woman on my Facebook. She was dating a guy, a black guy. She hit on me. I said, don't you have a boyfriend? Yeah, so I ain't doing twosies. I only do onesies. And I wasn't interested in her that way. She got angry on my Facebook when I did a live Facebook criticizing Cardi B's WAP song. Michael, she came from poverty. I said, I don't care. Can you imagine if a man in the 1950s came out with a song talking about his hard ASS, PENIS? Do you think that would have ever got off the ground in the U.S.? that have been shut down. There is preferential treatment given to women in America. And the more bizarre you are, the more corrupt you are, man, you got a passport to freedom and money and notoriety. This is not a beautiful person physically. One of the guys in our sales office looks just like that. Let's move on. If I don't cut out my screen. Let's talk about a conservative. Megyn Kelly, $45 million. She does not know how to color coordinate. Blonde with black eyebrows. Dyed hair, fake dyed hair. She criticized Jeff Bezos' fiance. That's when I completely turned her off. She had chest envy. Bezos' fiance wasn't bad looking, and she dressed somewhat provocatively at the inauguration. Now, here's what's really weird. Megyn Kelly didn't say a thing about John Fetterman, showed up in basketball sweatshorts and a hoodie. I mean, he looked like he just stumbled out of bed or a camper on the weekend. But she zeroed in on Bezos' wife because she had a little lacy frilly. Zuckerberg was even interested in her. He was giraffe neck, and they caught that on the camera. I wonder if his Asian wife had some words to say to him about that. And she did a whole TV show dedicated, or a whole show dedicated to slamming and condemning her attire, but didn't say a word about Fetterman. Even me, if I was invited to a presidential inauguration, I would put myself together. I wear no suit and tie, but I will get a pair of slacks. I will wear a dress shirt and proper shoes. I can and I would maintain some level of decorum. But I would love to run as a politician. And I'd like to walk in the rotunda dressed just like this. Let's see just how open the Democrats are to LGBTQ. When a conservative walks in dressed like this, is that against the code? A conservative, God-fearing, white male. They are discriminated against in this culture massively. And I hear women complain about the rape stats and this and that and how unfair. A British male came to the U.S. He studied our court system, our law, and he came away with a very obvious finding. The courts favor women in child custody, in child support, in the redistribution of the man's wealth. A good percentage of women get rich on divorce, cleaning out the man's empire. Entitlement? You bet your bippy. I was talking about teen girls. I've worked with them as a school bus driver. The most entitled group of women in the U.S. They can be rude. They can be biatchy. They can have an attitude. They can pout. Society doesn't do anything about it. There's a book. You can look it up called The Incompatibility of Men and Women. It's copyrighted in the 70s. Excuse me, the gentleman that wrote it is not a Christian, as far as I can tell. It's a garage sale book. I picked it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the total truth. He's talking about in the early 70s how boys are being brought up in an education system dominated by women and what that's doing. You want to know why there's transgender? You want to know why there's sexual confusion? Look no further than what's controlling the education system. Rabid feminist women. That's a fact. This woman cannot accept her hair color. Dyeing it blonde does not enhance her one bit. You forgot to dye the eyebrows, dum-dum. Women are hypercritical of us men. The TV shows for decades were critical of us men. And when YouTube showed up, we finally, males, had a platform. It spawned movements called MGTOW, men going their own way. Most of the women on my channel have no knowledge of that. When I first got on here in 2011, MGTOW was going full bore. Men going their own way, giving up on dating, giving up on marriage, encouraging men to get involved in hobbies, kayaking, classic car, finding something to do, and saying no to women. One of my viewers from Canada made me a bumper sticker. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. I sold the truck and I took it off because I'd moved to Florida and I thought, my gosh, people will run me off the road for this. He's an artist in Canada. He went overseas to marry his wife. He found a good one. And he said, I owe it to you. He's in Canada. He said, you were one of the first people I heard that nailed women accurately. I have several friends to this day from my former channel that said when they saw my channel, they said, yes, this guy's saying exactly what I've seen and observed. Women had the stage, they had the floor. They had the microphone, they had the school system, they had Hollywood. Commercial showing the man terrified of a bee flying through the house. And the woman says, I got this, honey. That's not even reality. Every place I worked, I saw a big African-American woman who was quite heavy. I'd never seen her move so fast out from behind her desk. I said, what's wrong? There's a bee! The women were freaking out. I grabbed the broom, went over there, went. Pfft. They portrayed us men as cowards, wussies, less than. Women to this day still mock us. Go to any break room. Go to any place where there's a lot of women. Women will gang up against you for no reason. Like a bunch of hens in a hen house. Last night I was reminded again that my chat cannot be directed by me. That it has to be tempered by, if the women are offended, you better not talk about it. This is one of the reasons I turn chat off. This is one of the reasons that I do both chat and lives without chat. People still write, how come I can't comment? How come I can't comment? Because I don't want you to right now. That's why. That even on my channel, I have to make it very clear, this is my platform, not yours. Don't like it? Exit. And then I get the ones that leave this drawn out paragraph upon paragraph of why I'm leaving your channel. I don't need all that. Leave. You're not paying my paycheck. You're not paying my taxes. You're not mowing my lawn. You're not scratching my back. You're not fixing me dinner. No loss. Let me know when you actually are doing something to benefit me. Another like, another view? Cool, but something tangible? I don't charge for memberships. I don't monetize. This is a free will channel. People want to give, they give. You got channels promoting Satan. You got channels promoting hatred against me. You got channels promoting and glorifying everything that God is against. They're rolling in the money. And I'm told I'm privileged. I've never seen it once in 60 years. Let's move on. This is another darling child of the internet. She needs to go find a job. Candace is worth $5 million. I think it's more than that. Never talks about her husband. Obsessed with Charlie Kirk. Obsessed with conspiracy theories. Trash talking Erica. Whoa, hold on. We don't hear you talking about your husband. I used to get behind Candace Owens. Slick conservative. I even made the comment on my former channel years ago, man, I'd date her in a heartbeat. No, I would not. She pays more for her outfits than I pay in a month of living. The women on my channel were complaining. One started complaining, I'm tired of men that won't look me in the eye. They always look at my breasts. And I simply said, well, a lot of women accentuate that, and that's what men are going to do. You got a soft bra or no bra or low cut. Well, I don't do that. Tight shirt. And women condemn men for a normal biological function. That ain't right. I will look a woman in the eye. Is this more powerful than this? Depends on the woman. I've heard women tell me to my face, men are afraid of a good-looking, smart woman. No, I'm not. It's just that you don't see those two together 99% of the time. Being a feminist doesn't mean you're smarter than me. Tuts. Going to college doesn't mean you're smarter than me. I had to break it to you. I don't care if you got a master's, a BA, a BS. It's all BS. Because the colleges and the schools manipulate the education to include liberal arts. How come they're not called conservative arts? How come they have women's studies but not men's studies? How come I had a friend named Nashonda in Barbados? We actively spoke on Skype together, Spike. She enrolled in a university in Barbados and told me, I took women's studies, Mike. I thought it'd be interesting. The teacher was a woman. She was promoting and told us in class, you don't need a man. A woman can reach you even in lesbian sex. Promoting, it was anti-male. She said, I failed the class. I couldn't get behind that. Where's CNN on reporting that? Where's MSNBC? Oh, Jen Psaki. There's another sweet girl. Redhead Raggedy Ann, White House press secretary. Left him immediately at a good cushy position with MSNBC. You will not get hired as a conservative man at any of the news desks of these major liberal networks. This is a country that's against discrimination. The media, which is talking about white racism, which they say is systemic, discriminates against white males. I would never be hired to at a news desk at a liberal news network ever. Where's the outcry? Where's the outcry? They'd say, well, you don't have a journalistic degree. Okay, so even if I got one, they're still not going to hire me. I'm a conservative, I'm a white male, and I'm a Christian. My channel, I speak the truth. And it pisses people off. People hated Rush Limbaugh. He spoke the truth. And I'm not Rush. I miss Rush. I hope he knew Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Because if he didn't, it's not good. You got a coworker dating a woman in the office. Since he started dating her, he's had black police officers offer their phone number to him. A UPS representative text message showing pictures of herself and of her grilling. If I was married If I was dating a girl, girls would come on to me hardcore. But as a single available guy, as a homeowner, no debts, hard worker, they're not flocking to me. Women are interesting. I love them. And they get so mad when I say the truth. You can always tell when you throw a rock into a pack of dogs which one got hurt by the yelping and howling. It's interesting what the Bible says about the curse. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you shall bring forth children. Yet your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Are men ruling over the women in their homes today? Hardly. Not even in the Christian church sector. That word desire, many pastors say that's talking about the desire to usurp the headship and the authority thereof. I find that women, even on my channel, want to play bossy butt and tell me what I can and cannot say. I find that every woman that wants to be in power at work wants to be rude and control me and disrespect me. This is why God says in the Word, through Paul, I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over men. In America, they have authority over us, summa cum laude. We've raised a nation of simps, American men. That was a MGTOW term, by the way. Red pill, blue pill, all these different pills. Men today will not rock the boat. They'll white knight these women. You got a woman smarting off in a chat room. I remember this in Yahoo. Running her mouth. I'll come in there and go, wow, you're offensive. And all the guys, you better watch it, Pacific. I better watch what? You don't know where I live. In the chat room days. And they were idolizing her because she was good looking. She had her cam on. I thought, yeah, she's good looking, but she's a biatch. Candace Owens keeps on going and going and going because she's got a following of simp men and silly girls. She used to be good. Not now. Not so. I'm not hating on this woman. I sub because she's got some good stuff. But is she date material? Is she going to make a good wife? Maybe to another woman. To a man? But men have shifted. Men will come on my channel and sharply criticize the attire I'm wearing right now. They won't say a word about that. Men wanted women to act like guys. They wanted them to be into heavy metal and acid and nails on a chalkboard music. They wanted them to cuss and yell and drink beer like the men. They wanted them to be at a football game wearing guy clothes, yelling like a man every time their team scored a touchdown. Our society made women become, many of them, the monsters that they are today. I'm not saying this is a monster. She gets 20,000 subs like that. Women get preferential treatment on the internet. Especially TikTok queens, the most stuck up. Remember in 2020 when everybody was forced indoors? One of my coworkers said, Mike, look at this. They got the no bra challenge on TikTok. Adult and teen women getting on the internet. No bra. Nipples and areola showing. TikTok didn't shut it down. It was put on Facebook. Facebook didn't say it violated their community standards. You can find them on YouTube. Doesn't violate their community standards, but on Facebook, if I posted a picture of a woman with a top on like this and any part of the nipple like this was pointing through, this violated the community standards. Now they got reels where underage girls are doing nipple slips, where adult women will be holding up a loaf of bread and move it real quick and their whole boob is out. I've complained. We reviewed your complaint and this did not violate the standards. And then I get jailed and shut down for nothing again and again and again and again. Preferential treatment to women? Huh. Yes, sir. Always and forever in America. And since I can't have this discussion with live chat, we won't. 2 women specifically, 3, excuse me, were not having it. One decided to be pouty and bring it out like we were a married couple and bring it right into the chat. Never mind the fact I prayed for her, cared for her, all that. Man, you want to make a scene in here. You want to make it a scene. That right there is not the kind of a woman you guys want to pursue for marriage. I don't need a woman chopping at me every time I make a statement. Women don't want to be controlled. Well, I don't want to be controlled by them either. And the freedom of speech you think you have applies to me, honey bunches of oats. And if you don't like what I say, ask yourself why. People say, Mike, you seem pretty tense and angry. I do. I get angry about this. But watch the 3 women getting angry too. You're not allowed to say anything that offends a woman. People will agree with me when I'm talking about everything outside of them. But when the truth hurts, and I'm different, I'm not going to tailor my channel to secure the favor of a few. I won't do it. I refuse to bow to that. Then my channel went away because it offends the world. Then my channel goes away because it offends the world. Huh. YouTube is not the standard. This is. I am not the standard. That chick right there is not the standard. This is. This is not the standard. That is definitely not the standard. But Hollywood and the media gives people this false sense that puts a throne on underneath them. You think that woman would ever have a lunch with me or sit down and talk? No way. No way. I'm not worthy of fake dyed blonde hair Megyn Kelly. That woman does not have scented poo-poo. But I imagine a lot of guys would love to play with her. Pedestalization. This one has made inflammatory, false statements about whites, blacks, and Jews. Still has a job on a trashy, crappy, non-journalistic, non-professional show like The View. Just the name The View is absolutely ridiculous. Barbara Walters, who's now deceased, started the show. She said, I want many diverse viewpoints. No, they're all liberal, angry, anti-man women. All of them. Joy Behar. What a cutie. I'm better looking as a man in women's attire than all those women in there. That's pretty sad. Weight issues, glops of makeup, poor dressing, destroyed their hair, all of them. And they're judging the world. People say, you talk about people. They're talking about people. Beating up on Trump, beating up on whites, beating up on conservatives. Praising Allah, praising gay people, praising women that act B-U-T-C-H. Huh. But let Michael wear a dress. What is wrong with you? WTF? I am proving a point, and I will continue to do it. Elect me as your congresswoman, I will bring change. I could do a better job running California than Gavin Newsom. I could do a better job running Michigan than Schumer. I'd do a better job running New York than Hochul. And I'm not a leader. But they are not. They're angry, agenda-driven clowns for their own selfish agenda. And the Democrat Party is ruled by feminist women and gay women and anti-male women. And you look at the Democrat males, they act like girls. And people in America are still caught up on packaging. They'll see me wearing this and they freak out. They're silent about this. That's not a lady, folks. It's a female, but it ain't a lady. This is not a lady. That's not a lady. Isn't that a kissable face? She does not know how to do justice to herself. The glasses, the hairstyle. Okay, she's not blessed with pretty. The pants and all that. Women don't know how to put themselves together. And they judge the hell out of us guys. That is a fashion disaster. This is not pretty. She looks like a mummy. That looks like what I imagine her laying back in her coffin. And these women got more fame and fortune than I will ever have, and everybody just oodles and googles about them. Why? There's nothing there. This is such a cutie. Look at that beautiful purpley pink hair. After a game of soccer, her armpits smell more pungent than mine after a hard day in a warehouse. Yuck. Wake up next to this one, you'll think you're having a nightmare. I'm sorry if this offends people. I'm getting sick and tired of the LGBT gotta get all the attention out there. Femyaz with his, I'm a transgender and I stand up for transgender rights. Oh, but you bash Christians. You supported Charlie Kirk's death. Where's the outcry by these liberals for people that believe in God? You defend Islam. You defend Ilhan Omar. She's a racist, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic woman who should have been fired. She can do an anti-Jewish diatribe. Nothing happens. I talk about these kinds of people attacking a white woman who did nothing wrong coming out of a jazz festival in Cincinnati. I get fired from a school district. Tell me that life is fair. If this had happened 50 years ago, I would have had a lawsuit against the district and won. Won. The tail is wagging the dog. The LGBT, the black community, the feminists control the ship in America. Donald Trump is not going to make America great again. He's incapable of it. And he got involved in Iran, and I do not support that. This is ridiculous. These politicians are clowns, all of them. Kristi Noem having an affair while under Trump. Ship of fools. I swear, these people on Capitol Hill are on the good ship Lollipop. Lolliplop. People think by what I'm saying that I hate Brittany Griner. I don't know these people. They ain't going to give me the time of day. Not at all. Benny Johnson. He would never talk to me. Mark Dice. Louder with Crowder. None of those. You know, the whole movement of anything popular is determined by fickle clowns. People throwing their money. Benny Johnson got a little outline, a neon of his face. Exalt thyself much? I don't want an outline or a caricature of my head. I want my message to resonate from every schoolhouse and every church house and every state house in the land. This country is screwed up the rectum. That woman behind me got favoritism, privilege as a black lesbian sports star. They released a Russian guilty of treason against the United States in exchange for that. They should have left her there. I'm tired of the favoritism towards women. Are any of you men sick of it? Are any of you women tired of it? Where's the voice of women that agree with the truth of what I'm saying? You don't like hearing what I have to say when it comes to females, but you agree with me on everything else? So I should tailor my channel and message to conform to you? I'm the head of my channel. I'm the head of my house. Don't like my platform? Go away. Simple. You have the power of choice. You fought for it. You got the power to choose to murder your child. Nobody can do anything about it. The Supreme Court legalized murder. Tell me that women don't get preferential treatment. You can murder your children and have no shame, no capital punishment, no prison. Boom, boom, boom. That is wrong. I don't want to hear these women griping. I could have started throwing people out of the room last night, but I don't. I could have canceled a moderator status last night and said, you know what, I'm done. But I don't. Because I'll be seen as, oh yeah, see, he gets rid of all the women that don't agree with him. Nah, 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 nah. You can't win with women like that. Ever. Ever. Why should I apologize for being white? Why should I apologize for being a man? Why should I be afraid to be a Christian? I shouldn't. Why should I be afraid to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth about African American community in the U.S., about Chinese in Hong Kong, about feminism, about Mexicans, about Asians? I shouldn't. The Bible tells me, fear not. It's 3:28 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on this rant. Why do I do it? Do I get a paycheck from it? Nope. I got to go to work. I do it because it's my heart. This was sent to me yesterday. I can't wear it. I tried to put it on, and it is very nice. Maybe someday I'll be blessed to have a petite, lovely girlfriend, and she can wear it for me. And I'll love her passionately for doing so. This is beautiful. Thank you to Gravity Rising for that. I did put it on. I cannot zip it up. I cannot wear some of these women's clothing. I need a woman to zip it up for me. Very tight, and I don't want to rip it. The Bible talks about sin. Very pointed. Very accurate. And Americans like to focus on what Michael's doing wrong with his attire. Those same women and men don't read the Bible about profanity, gambling, getting drunk, getting high. I've had women in the last week. So would you reject me off your channel because I smoke pot? No, I wouldn't. Would I date you? No. And they get mad. So I have to lower my bar of expectations because you want to do drugs. I dated a woman who did marijuana. I gave her a chance. Sorry, I don't like the smell of BO, and pot smells like BO. It smells like rancid armpit. It's gross. I don't want to be around women or men that smell like that. I drove a school bus, and every time I'd open the door, it rolled in. Smoking her blunts. A guy, I pulled up at the bus stop, African-American kid who was always acting up, standing there smoking a big old hoagie, blunt, whatever you want to call it. I said, hold up, buddy, don't come on. No, man, you got to wait for me to finish. I said, I ain't waiting for you to finish smoking that. I'm calling dispatch because you shouldn't be riding. You're doing drugs. And a black woman, I named the kid, named the high school. Do I have permission to shut the door? Go, negative, you'll need to transport him. He's smoking a blunt. You still have to transport him, Mr. Nelson. I didn't respond. I said, put that thing out and get on the bus. No, man, you got to wait. No! I'm not waiting. I have to transport you. I'm on a schedule. Put it out and get on, or I'm going to shut the door and leave. I got all these kids and I got a camera. Put it out. And when you get on, sit right here. I didn't do nothing wrong. Oh, yeah, you did. You've disrespected me every day. You can sit in the front from now on. I don't want you in the back of my bus. Lighten up. You can't do nothing to me. I smoke pot outside. You're not supposed to be using drugs at a bus stop. And I'm not busting you for that. I'm busting you that every day you got to give me trouble and you're disrespectful. Even the other kids on this bus came on in the afternoon and said they can't stand you. Huh? You think you're a rock star in your school? One of the coaches came up to me and said, he gets under everybody's skin in here. Dispatch calls me. Did you hear that message, Mr. Nelson? I did not answer. Every person in every bus knew Michael's pissed. Women in authority. Black women in authority. We're going to let it slide to the black guys smoking pot at the bus stop. I've watched our whole society erode because women are in control. Women have bashed and beat up men. It's gone on and on and on and on for decades, unchecked, unreined. Now we got a platform. They don't like it. We're supposed to kiss their butt. We're supposed to bow down and worship to get a date. Why is it, if I was to have a hot-looking girlfriend, women would come out of the woodwork trying to get my attention? But as a single guy, no interest. Why do all these women, Candace Owens, $5 million. Brittany Griner, $5 million. Oprah Winfrey, $3.4 billion by Forbes magazine. Rosie, 80 million to 123 million. For what? The Gay Ladies Club? Ellen DeGeneres, Degenerate, 500 million. That's $500 million. For what? Megyn Kelly, 45 million. So she can buy more hair dye? Paula White, estimated 40 million. That woman totally ignores the word. But people, even other Christians, will get on here and support women ministers and condemn me for wearing a woman's top. Okay, number one, we're under law, right? The Bible tells us in Romans that we're under law, not under grace. Paul said that, right? Paul said we will be saved by following the law. No, he didn't. But the Apostle Paul in the New Testament says, I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over men. You know what women have done with that? Well, Paul was a chauvinist. Wait a minute. All scripture is God-breathed. God gave Timothy instruction about the overseer, the bishop, deacons. The pronoun he is used constantly, never she. Never. And does not mean that men are better than or superior to women. It's about office. It's about headship. And women in America don't like that. Women don't get their way, they're going to make us all pay. My mother did that. She got mad at her husband. It's amazing how the most wretched people live the longest. She's still alive. My dad's dead. He did not have a happy marriage with her. He lived being controlled. My dad worked hard. She got tired of the house they were living in, wanted to buy another. So they sold it, bought another. Sold it, bought another. Sold it, bought another. Sold it, bought another. Let's buy a condo. Let's get out of the condo. Let's move here. My mother's an unhappy, miserable soul, and it shows in every photographic picture she's taken. She's not photogenic. She looks like a shrew. My mother is not a good human being. She's a lost soul. Mother's Day means nothing to me. Father's Day means nothing to me. I was married to an ex-wife who's done major harm to my son. I was married to an ex-wife who has told everybody lies about me. 14 years, I did the best I could. It wasn't good enough. I decided to pull the plug. Women love to talk about what they went through with a man, but they don't want to hear what we've been through at the hands of a woman. They want the stage about all the abuse, real or imagined, verbal. Oh my gosh. They have changed the word verbal abuse and pigeonholed anytime their feeling is offended, that's abuse. My ex-wife said, you raised your voice. Did you tell your women friends that when I brought up something calmly, that you go from 0 to 60 and yell and get up in my face? Did you mention that? Or did you edit that out? Men are at more disadvantage for getting married in the United States than any other country in the world. Well, Canada, UK, and Australia dial in too. White women nations. That's why there's been an exodus of men going overseas. The problem is a lot of women, if they've grown up on Hollywood and this, rose-colored glass view of America, you can have the same problems. In India, women are slapping their husbands. Bollywood is their Hollywood. Women are standing up. India women are embracing lesbianism in the shiploads. America has exported our bad, sinful, wicked culture around the globe. Why is pornography the highest produced in the United States. We're supposed to be a Judeo-Christian ethnic nation, right? Why are we the leader in adult material? Because women are so awesome and so great, right? 50% of all marriages end up in the trash can, right? Why do all those marriages end up in the trash? Is it all the men's fault? If you listen to the majority of women in America, yep, it's all our fault. When I dated Beth in Hong Kong, she would always say, "You are the one. You are the..." I said, "What did I do? I didn't do anything." "Yes, you did. You are the one." She grew up watching Hollywood. When I told her how much I make in bus driver pay compared to Hong Kong dollar and Philippine peso, "Oh, so you not rich? How you expect to take care of me?" "I make enough to take care of you." She wanted a gold, she's a gold digger. On her Facebook, about a year ago, I found her Facebook. She dressed as a witch. All I did was put a laugh emoji and she blocked me. She didn't know I had access to it. But cool, you finally dressed what you are. Remember in the 70s, my other car is a broom on the bumper sticker of women's cars? You remember in the 70s and 80s when women said BITCH and proud of it? When's the last time you've seen a man have a bumper sticker say, "I'm an a-hole and proud"? I know men that keep their houses and automobiles cleaner than most women today. When I was a kid, women would jump on us if we left our tracked mud in the house, anything. I watch black women I work with. It's freezing cold. They've got the heat on in the terminal. They'd walk in, fling the door open, and not shut it. Somebody say, "You live in a barn?" Somebody yelled at a woman, "Can you shut the door, please? It's cold." She stood there, held it open. "You got a problem with that? You got a problem with it?" Say, "Man, come on. People come in here to get warm. Have some respect." Women got the rights. We don't. I watched a woman in that same terminal, big heavy black woman, pull her shirt all the way up and show her bra and boobs. I said, "You know, there's a camera right there. I don't care. They ain't going to fire me. Let me walk in there and pull my shirt off. I'll be out of a job." And everybody in society knows, don't ever offend a black woman out there. You're in deep trouble if you do. That's fact. Women get preferential treatment in America. They have had the stage for decades. And if women are offended by that on my channel, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you're watching or what you're looking at. John Griffin. You women might want to watch him because he walks 3 dogs and you're all into dogs. And he talks about the reality of Western women. I did a video in Hong Kong. Western women are destroying themselves. 20,000 views. Feminism is destroying Western women. 30,000 views. I made friends to women or men from years ago just on those videos alone. And their comments. Finally, there's a voice to what we're all seeing. Women like it when a man tells the truth until the truth confronts them. They'll all get behind somebody until that somebody makes them uncomfortable saying what they need to hear but don't want to hear. I love women too much. I've had failed relationship after failed. Some of it's my fault. Number one, for choosing a bad mate. Number two, for failing to realize most of these women have the same characteristics as my mother. Denial, never could say I'm sorry, did not accurately understand this, and humility. Women are proud and lifted up today, and they're really proud of that. If you're a good-looking woman, there's an Oriental woman years ago. She'd do a shower, and the camera starts right here, the top of her cleavage. And she grew fast. And look at all the men in here praising her. She was hot looking. They're hoping that camera will drop. That's it. She had no content. She's talking in the shower, lathering her hair. I'm sorry, when a woman's doing all this, I'm like, dang. If I was a woman, there's a song out there. If I were a boy, oh, it hit the charts. If I was to sing, if I were a girl, it wouldn't hit the charts. Women, back it up like a Tonka truck. You got privilege and favoritism that don't quit. You can sing about your vagina and become a millionaire. A man cannot sing about his penis and become a millionaire. Fact. Women could walk around doing this. Anybody dares to challenge that, woo! Watch out, baby. Watch out, you're playing with fire. I love telling the truth. It's so freeing because it's not out there. All these women want to tell me what I can and cannot say and tell me I'm wrong. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. Not even close to wrong. Not on this, baby. Not on this. How about this attitude? I hate that. I hate that. So many women in this community out here got that bottom lip all the way out. They can walk in a mood. Everybody's so supposed to bow, make way for that. Let a man come in having a bad day. Man, what's your problem? What's wrong with you? You don't got to take it out on everybody. Oh, honey, shut up. All day, all night. There's a woman that's got a song. It goes like this. Pardon my French. All day, all night, all day, all night. What the F? Oh, it's a hit with the women. They like all that. They love a rebellious, profane woman. They love that. The views go shaboom. And many of them are Christians too, that shaboom those views. Isn't it fun when you tell the truth? I'm going to get the tub that looks like I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe it's not butthurt. I posted that on Facebook. Facebook jailed me for that. Wow, a meme that was appropriate. I can't believe it's not butthurt. Nothing pornographic. They banned it. Because the Facebook team looks like this. The people that are censoring all your stuff, it looks like this. Or this. Or this. Or the one that looked like they exploded into a tackle box and ran into the paint factory. They're the ones censoring all our posts. Liberal women got rank and they got priority and they got privilege that we men will never, ever, ever in the continental U.S. or Canada or Australia or New Zealand or the UK ever, ever, ever have. Kaboom, shabaka, bika, bickety, bickety, poo. Fact. Women have the upper hand in just about everything. And anybody who doesn't see it has got their head up their rectum. Candace Owens is not worth $5 million. Brittany Griner is not worth $5 million. Oprah Winfrey is not worth $3.4 million. Rosie, $80 million. Ellen, $500 million. Do you notice that the more liberal and more gay women are, the higher the stuff goes? So I don't support Joel Osteen. He's worth $100 million. Ellen, as a gay lady, is worth $500 million. I think we men in America have been dealt a bad deck of cards. And I'm sick of it. Sick of it. This woman right here never, ever should have been traded for a Russian spying on the U.S. Joe Biden showers with a 12-year-old daughter. Can you imagine if I was conservative? I am conservative. Can you imagine if I ran for office? I said, oh, I love having showers with my 12-year-old. What do you think the media and the liberals would have done with that? Joe Biden does it, and CNN's silent. Joe Biden's got his hands right here on a young lady on national TV and sniffing her hair. Why are his hands right here? She doesn't even have any yet, but why are his hands right here? On national TV. And the Democrats don't want to hear the truth about Biden. They don't want to hear any negative talk about him. Let me get on YouTube and have a young girl stand in front of me with my hands right here, and I promise you, the erupting firestorm would be huge on the internet. If you're a Democrat, the women will give you a free pass to be a pedophile. Don't believe me? The Democrat women demand that Bill Clinton be brought to justice, and all the men with all those teenage girls. I wish I had a picture of Virginia. She looks at ease in her skimpy attire with her arm around Prince Harry or whatever, with Ghislaine Maxwell. What a weird name. Unbelievable. Remember when Martha Stewart got a pampered chef prison cell for her insider stocks? Just shut up. I will be vindicated. Oh, yes. When a woman's guilty of doing something, you catch it. That's not okay. Martha Stewart has made a fortune as a privileged Democrat. The View. To call a show The View is a lie. It is not The View. It is A View. Just the name of the show is enough to say, nope. I would never call my channel The View. There's only one that could be called The View. This. The arrogance of liberal women. The way they get away with stuff. Ilhan Omar can do a racist diatribe against Jews and Israelis. Not one gavel came down. Ilhan Omar. That is racist. will not tolerate that speech on government property. Let a white man say the truth about black community in America. Let a white man say the truth about women and feminism. Oh, we're the devil. We're racist. We're misogynistic. See, that's all you do is you weaponize a word because you don't want to hear the truth. You extol strong women like that. You worship them. You praise them. Might as well sleep with them too. The growing number of women becoming lesbian is a phenomenon. Most who become lesbian will never come back to us. Even in a lesbian chat room, years ago, I listened in as women were on the mic. Gay men are gross. They were being graphic on it. Why would they want to have a sword fight? Why would they want to touch each other's? I got on there and said, why would two people want to bump in clams? Oh, the outroar. There's a man in here. Get out. You're not supposed to be. It's a chat room. I can go in any chat room I want, ladies. Even in our society, preferential treatment's given to lipstick lesbians, but gay men are totally scorned. Well, why is it okay for the ladies that are cute to be gay, but for two men, oh, that's messed up. Oh, and the men get all macho about that. Hey, man, you either judge things by this all the way across or shut your mouth. When men are silent about a Brittany Griner and a Rapinoe they're silent. Men secretly inside have gay tendencies because they want women to be more male so they can hide the fact that they're homosexual or something. I want a lady. I don't want a dude. I wouldn't date that. Good grief. She's scary looking. I don't even think women should be in sports like that. Ooh, that's going to get me wins and points. That's going to get me loved by society. Women have had the upper hand so long that for me to say these things, oh, it's not okay in their eyes. Let me make it clear that women have left this long ago. Even most Christian women are nowhere close to a biblical standard. I admit even I'm not. I've been affected by Hollywood. I've been affected by a secular, godless education. There's sins that I like. Women don't date me. I've looked at lesbian adult photography, black and white, two women naked leaning. It's beautiful. It's wrong. It's a sin in God's eyes. It's like, well, I can't have women, so I might as well live vicariously through it. I wish I was a woman. I wish I was a lesbian. I'd get a date with hot chicks all day long. But me as a man, nope. I don't make enough money. I got glasses, whatever. I don't say the right things. It's funny how women have turned it around, that women were not made for us to be their servant. They were made to be our helpmate. Go back to the beginning. You were not made for your selfish pursuit. You were made for the man. Now it's all up in your face. We don't need no man. Well, then let's take back that semen that created you. And give me your iPhone and give me your car and give me all the utilities. Depend on that was all put in place by men. You don't need us? Go all the way. Go to that island. You make food. You make a factory. You make clothing. You make lipstick. Most of the makeup designers are men, by the way. Most of the fashion designers for women's clothing are men, by the way. And what I'm doing is not hurting anybody. This is a role model. And it's a terrible one. And she got released violating a country's rules and got presidential preferential treatment because she's black and a lesbian. I got a problem with that. If I, as a white male, had done the same thing, Biden wouldn't care. I'm speaking out because the House and the Senate don't talk about it. The liberal news networks, the LNNs, don't talk about it. And I'm going to break for station identification and go get me a snack. You can look at that lovely lady. Enjoy. The sissification of the American males alive and well. You got a sissy boy on YouTube constantly ripping apart Christians. And I am his popular subject a lot of the time. He's a rage baiter. My name is Femyaz and I'm here to debate you. Oh no, he's here to harass, to stalk, to promote hatred, to encourage violence with his rhetoric. He supported Charlie Kirk's death. Charlie Kirk came to college campuses, was not forbidden to do so. He had a shtick called Change My Mind. He gave people the mic. Femyaz is not a debater because he doesn't stand on biblical truth. Femyaz has the philosophy of the penis. And the penis has been affected in American culture by women. Women have denounced the penis, they have screamed against the penis, and women desperately, many of them, wish they had one. This woman behind me, I'm surprised she doesn't have one. And I've always said this, if the Bible is wrong, why is it that lesbian women try to be boy-like and dominate and be the head over another woman? God's original design was a man to be the head and a woman to be the submissive. And in every gay or homosexual relationship, you have the dom and the sub. Somebody assuming the role of the man, somebody assuming the role of a female. That's a fact. Femyaz is the product of an education in a liberal-dominated America that is causing young men to be confused about their sexual identity. Even going as far as to lie against known science that when you were born with a penis, you're a guy and you cannot become a woman. I lay this transgender and sexual confusion and rise in gay relationships at the feet of American females. Yes, I do. They've dominated the education system, always yelling at boys. for being boys. Calm down, settle down. I was on a field trip years ago. Denver schools had a lot of stuck-up young women come out of school with a degree. You need to understand that people get a teaching degree. Don't think that college isn't bashing males to them. They are. They did it at Nashanda's University in Barbados. And you wonder why these women are hostile and rude. They're being groomed to do so in America. Land of the free, home of the brave, home of the lied to and manipulated. I want to change the view to something better looking. I'd rather look at a sea monkey than these women I'm talking about. Forgive me, but I'm hungry. Clusters are good. There have been channels out there. There's proof out there that most women in America never graduate beyond a teenage mental state. In their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Most of you don't know. I caretook a property for 7 years in Colorado. Ann and Jim Woodworth, they're both now deceased. Jim's wife berated him daily, nagged, argued, cajoled. Ann would drive to Lowe's and buy a bunch of plants. Come in the house, say, I need you to plant these right away. Honey, it's late in the day. She wouldn't say, I'm going to go do this. Can you help me? None of that. I come home from driving a school bus for Denver schools. She's in there biatching away at them. One day I was in the kitchen, and Ann would do this to me. But one day she shocked me. She said, I appreciate all you do. I said, are you sure about that? She said, I know I can be, and she said the B word. She said, the truth is my husband should have slapped my face for the way I treat him. I set my dish down. I said, what? I would have never expected. No, Mike, I'm not very nice to him. I said, well, I agree with you. I watch it every day. But she didn't change. I hear people say Christ makes the difference. Does he? I don't see it with women. Even last night, there were some women in the chat where I could see Christ in them. They were rising up against me. One said, I don't understand why everybody's turning against Mike. What did he do? One woman said, I got you. God's got us, Mike. Another woman defended me and said, you know, women that really come into contact with Christ, Even though society's impacted us all, they know. I'm not beating up on women. Women say you're bashing women. You're bashing the Catholics. You're bashing the Mormons. You're bashing everything. Well, good. Wrecking balls are good. When a building is a hazard, everybody, wrecking ball it. Let me run that crane. Bible talks about tearing down strongholds. That's what I'm here to do. Well, I've been lied to. I've been forced to be quiet for fear of my mother. I've been forced not to tell people what she did to me, my sister, and all the crazy stuff. I lived all my life in fear and wanting the approval of my mother. Took me to my mid-30s to finally stand up to her and say, no more. 30-something years of my life dominated by a miserable, abusive, crazy woman. My mother that adopted me, who favors the natural-born daughter to this day. My sister, the natural-born, is deceitful and a liar. She's a Mormon. And she believes a lie. My dad came over to tell my little sister years ago, well, Mike just did it. He sealed his fate. My sister says, what do you mean? Oh, he wrote a letter to your mother, and we're both very angry. Yeah, Dad, because you're a simp. You let mother beat the crap out of you. My mother jumped on me for, when I was in high school, I dated girls and broke up. And I brought all that up. I said, you get mad at Dad, kick him out of the house. He goes to get an apartment, puts first class deposit, and then you tell him to come back a month later and he's wasted all that money. Do you know how many times you've done this to him? And you bought a condo and you lived in the condo and wanted Dad to live in the house? What do you think I went through? Then my mom wanted me to live at the condo, but not in the condo. She had me living on the balcony. The balcony was flimsy. And it was 3-4 stories above the hill it sat on. If we ever had a major earthquake, I would have been done to my death. My mother was a foolish woman. The last years of her life, she had a contractor come in at my dad's expense and partition off part of the house and put my dad in it. What a nice, loving wife she was. My dad worked hard, and that's the way she treated him. She didn't like something or whatever, she'd clam up and wouldn't talk to him. Then she wanted to buy her own car. And she'd show up with a family like they're this lovey-dovey relationship. And nothing could be further from the truth. Women don't want to hear about us men when we go through bad stuff with women. They don't want to hear it. They want to own the mic. They want to own the stage. This is America. I have the same freedom of speech you do. Difference is I'm not lying. I am Michael Nelson, and I approve all of my messages. I have nothing left to lose. The women aren't beating my door to date me. I don't care what they think of me. I do not care. You can tell a lot by a woman by the kind of friends she keeps. Most women surround themselves with yes women. They will women that will always agree with them, always make them feel good. They will never surround themselves with a cabinet of women saying, Michael Nelson telling the truth, and you need to take a good look at yourself. You'll never surround yourself with women who will tell you the damn truth. Even more of us men will have advisors that don't always agree with us. And women use their feelings. Anything I say, you hurt my feelings. No, now I'm going to be manipulated by that. One of my moderators loves his wife and his family and is deeply committed to them. And I was going to say, could you watch this video and let me know what you think? Pay attention to the chat in there too. One says, well, I'm leaving. Good night. My ex would do that. She'd put nasty grams on my pickup truck for 7 years in Colorado. Did not want to talk to me. Leave unsigned, unaddressed letters in the mailbox. That's against the law, by the way. This went on and on. I wrote her a letter. Nicely, I said, you need to stop leaving notes on my pickup. The reason you're having problems with our son is because you have spoiled him. You don't discipline him and you want to blame that on me. I take no responsibility for what you are doing as a mother. That's on you. You keep talking about me to your friends. You keep telling everybody how wretched I am. I have moved on with my life. I've done everything I can with my son, and I'm tired of this. She had a degree in psychology. She's a psychological disaster on legs. To this day. And these brave warriors, either her or my son, send me a letter, unsigned, unaddressed, with no, a typewriter and poorly cut out Deuteronomy 22:5 and says, you need deliverance. No son, no ex-wife, you still both need it. Going on about an article of clothing. Judgmental as hell. While never caring once about trampling your father's dignity when I cleaned up your mother's mess and your mother allowing you to do things that were wrong. I have been a victim of many horrible women, and I don't beat on that drum for 30 years and lay down and die. I get up and face the day, but I'll be damned if women are going to tell me I don't understand. No, you don't understand, women. You don't want to hear about what we men have been through, and there's a lot of us. Well, then don't listen to my channel. Go bury your head in the sand in the ostrich. Go dye your hair blonde. Go worship your little doggy. Go buy your SUV and get drunk on Starbucks. Get out of my face. You're not dateable. You're not marriageable. You're not good for nothing. You got a problem with it? On you. I don't care. If I die alone, I die alone. But I'm not. God promised to never leave me nor forsake me. Society's not my friend. Culture's not my friend. My coworkers are not my friends. Nobody in my church is my friend. What have I got to lose? By telling the truth. Women want to psychoanalyze me. It sounds like you've got a lot of pain that you haven't dealt with. Shut up. And you're a clinical psychologist or a medical expert or a Christian counselor, right? Nope, on all three. Notice how women self-assess as if though they are the shrinks and psychologists that can accurately assess Michael. My mother is that way. My mother has a sister who's now deceased. One thing I've learned, abusive, horrible people live a long damn life. Wait a minute. Scripture says if you obey these things, you have a long life. My mother doesn't obey this at all. Never did. She's a Roman Catholic now, and she hides behind the do's and don'ts of Catholicism. That Catholic Church hasn't done anything. It hasn't made her realize you were... My mother will stand before God for what she's done to me. That is the only comfort that I can gain in this life. And all the bullshit that my mother has put out there to the whole family is not going to fly with the living God. Well, you need to learn to forget. You need to learn to mind your own damn business. And then some woman left some stupid comment. Honor others above yourself. I was dancing. Oh my gosh, I have some video shorts of me dancing. You know how long it took to get me to be free enough to dance, let alone put on what I put on? Women use scripture as a billy club. I'm going to show him I know scripture. Yeah, you're totally misusing it. Me dancing is not honoring others above me. Oh, okay, so I need to walk around like this. And I'm supposed to prefer everybody else. I can't express. I got to be this walled-in little turtle. Stick my head out of the shell. No, women, you don't rule over me. You don't pay my bills. But they sure want to play bossy butt everywhere on my channel, in work, everywhere. They don't know how to drive. They got 2 inches in front of you, no blinker. Slam on the brakes to turn into Starbucks. I'm in a bus loaded with middle schoolers. I tap the horn. Out comes their middle finger. I am putting some of you women on notice on my channel. You want to go around with me? You want to tell me the kind of things you were telling me last night? Find another channel that's more to your liking, please. I don't have to obey or submit to you and your wacky doodle belief. I've done it all my life, and I'm not going to do it. Why don't you go confront all those women that are doing online hooking up with men about to get out of prison? Why don't you talk to them? All the women that use men for their bank account. No love involved. Why don't you preach to them? Why don't you quote scripture to them? Women would rather date Barabbas and see Jesus crucified. Women like me until I say something that offends them. Women act like they're goddesses. The Apache goddess. This girl here calls herself an Apache, the Apache goddess. Is a Christian a goddess? Is a Christian woman a goddess? Is that a goddess? No, absolutely not. She's Native American, and I respect that. How come nobody's quoted Deuteronomy 22:5? You shall not dress as a man. Women first mentioned in the verse. There is preferential treatment given to women. I proved it over and over. I started to talk about that last night, and 3 women says, you can't criticize somebody for gauges and tattoos. That's not very nice. You missed what I'm saying again. Just like my mother. Exaggerate, miss the point. You women are so smart. You went to college. I just said, I'm not here to judge all this. I'm just saying, how come nobody's making a comment that she acts, walks, talks, dresses, looks, tattooed, graffitied like a man? They'll come on my channel and criticize this all day long. Why the double standard? Why is it that women can't hear the truth of what I'm saying? Everything's an attack with them. Everything, oh my gosh, he's saying something about women. Why do you defend that? Why do you defend a woman with gauges this big? Tell me we're not going back to African tribalism. The natives with the big old coin at their bottom lip. And you guys rejoice in that. I remember when I was at Denver Public Schools, there was a big woman, Mexican woman. She was a fencer. She called us crackers. I finally turned her in to a new black boss. He called her in and said, you can't say that. She was not attractive at all. She come in one day. She dyed her hair fake blonde. It was frizzed and destroyed. All the ladies, oh, your hair looks so nice. Oh my gosh, none of these women have any taste. That women do that for each other. They don't try to please us. My first wife, I said, what picture I like is when you had your hair part in the middle and straight. And now you've got it. She did a beehive. I don't know what possessed her to do this. I don't have any pictures of her. Her hair was up like conical, all and long. And she put so much Aquanet in it. There were globules of what looked like plastic, melted hairspray drips all in it. I'd lean against her and it stunk. I said, man, you got so much hairspray. And one day she went to bed and her hair was all dented. I said, man, you got so much hairspray in there, it's all tweaked. She spent 3 hours in the bathroom every day. 3 hours before church. Tie up the bathroom. Her own father said, we need to go. I know. And she'd snap at everybody. Nobody at church came up and said, wow, that looks so good. Nobody liked it, even other women. I was at Kmart with her one day, and we went around an aisle. I said, I'm going to go look at the toy trucks. I left her. 2 women came around the other side. Oh my God, did you see that woman's hair? What the heck? That was in the 80s. I wanted to say, yeah, that's my wife. I told her, I said, I don't want it old-fashioned. I said, you looked feminine. You look soft. When a woman looks natural and feminine, it makes me want to love her more. This here behind me, black women with their weaves and extensions. There's a attitude that goes with that. Women that grow their hair natural in the African American community, they're softer, they're warmer, they're approachable. People judge me for wearing a woman's top, and women get a free pass. They uglify their hair. This one right here has destroyed, if she ever had any to begin with, her looks. by doing these things. That is not pretty. That is not beautiful. That's not just my opinion. Everybody quotes the Old Testament and Michael for a woman's top. It says in here about tattoo, cutting, marking. Not supposed to do that either, but none of the women quote that verse. Why does almost all white women today take this tack? What's wrong with your normal color hair? Why does everybody want to be blonde? I think it is stupid. I think it is immature. And I think every woman that dyes their hair blonde is an immature child. They all have the same predictable way. Juvenile. Body-wise, Megyn Kelly's hot. Why does she gotta screw up her hair? And then like a middle school girl. Jeff Bezos' fiance has bigger boobs than me, and she showed it at the inauguration, and that's wrong. Really? Chest envy, huh? I don't think I have it in here. I'll have to look. There's a chest envy picture with Sophia Loren back in the day. I don't think I have it in here. There it is. Look at the one on the left there, looking at her, right down at her. Clearly annoyed. The woman on the right, clearly more endowed. Women are catty. Women do not like it when somebody's better looking than them. I've seen women gang up against women. I've seen women gang up against me. I'm not going to retell it here, but when I was in Hong Kong, and I have to stretch because I'm sitting uncomfortably because I have a skirt on. I don't believe that, I was involved with a woman in Hong Kong. Beth, not her real name, nickname. And try to vitamin capsulize this. I began to see the way women are. And it was horrifying. She was friends with Merle. She was friends. Beth was an interesting dichotomy. When I first met her online in a Hibbing library, first thing she told me, yeah, my father cheated on my mother. How old were you? I was very young. I don't like men who cheat. Well, I'm looking to find myself a woman. I'm not interested in cheating. She made a big issue about that. I came to Hong Kong first time to visit her. She was rude. I was hooked on her beauty, her brown skin, her long black hair. She smelled, had that perfume. But she was a bit of a B word. Asking for money, rude. I'd ask her questions she wouldn't answer. I came back, months went by, and I broke it off. She was a manipulator. I got off the call center one night at 10 p.m. I got home, 10:30. I'm about to go to bed, and my phone rings, and it's her. And she's crying. You misunderstand me. I miss you. I love you. And Michael got reeled in again. 2009, I went out and decided to marry her. Bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I lived out there for 8 months that time. And she had a very young Filipino friend, much younger than her. And she'd talk about men cheating. And she introduced me to this female friend of hers. She was very nice to me. And she was seeing a Filipino that his name was Boy. Don't know what that was all about. He was a bit older than me. Both of them were not married to each other in real life. He had a wife in the Philippines, she had a husband. And she would go down on her day off and practice singing a poker face. She loved to dance, and she entered a dance competition and won. Beth was really funny the way she would defend Irene. I said, you just told me she's cheating. Yeah, but Mike, she away from her husband a long time, and boy, you know, they're nice people. But then she come into the flat. Leo was a flatmate, Filipino, very nice. And this beautiful Filipino come over, well endowed. You could tell she was sexy to boot. And Leo, the Filipino, told me, he says, he showed me his family on the internet. That's my wife. And he was fooling around with this hottie in Hong Kong. He said, I love my wife, but, you know, I'm alone and I never judged him. I'm like, you know, that seems to go on a lot. Then Beth, come on. Yeah, he cheated on his wife. I don't like. I said, excuse me. Your best friend Irene's cheating. Then he meet Leo's girl toy. They're talking outside my door and back and forth in Tagalog. Wow, I like her. I said, you do, huh? You know she's cheating? And she was always saying, you'll probably cheat too. I did. She said it so many times and she was rude and she was nasty. And I told her, go back to your employer. And I ran headlong. She's the one that convinced me to go to karaoke. Girls would come on to me and then she'd get mad about it. I said, you told me to dance with them, you wouldn't dance with me. You told me to dance with your friend Irene. It's funny how Irene would be very appropriate to me, but she's flagrantly cheating on her husband back in the Philippines. And I've learned something in the US, even among Caucasian women. They like dirt. They like 50 Shades of Grey. They like soap operas. They like all that. If I was to be more bad and more wicked, I'd be more desirable to them. The minute I have a hot girlfriend on my side, they'd be trying to get my attention and pull me away from her. Yeah, there is a problem. And Beth would defend people she liked having an affair. And I walked up to mid-levels one day because I'd always meet her in the afternoon. Her and all the Filipinos would walk their employers' dogs on Kowloon Road. Then I'm standing there and all the ladies are talking and one of her friends, who's got a British accent, she was a looker. Michael, right in front of Beth, right in front of all ladies. I'm going to the Philippines to see my family, and I'd like to ask if you would accompany me. First of all, I was shocked at the forwardness of it. Second of all, I'm a man. I'm going, my gosh, she's hot. Thirdly, I'm just like, right in front of Beth. I said, well, you'd have to talk to Beth about that. Yeah, it's okay, love. You can go. I said, well, we'll talk about that. I should have jumped on that. I could have had 2 weeks of a sordid affair with a hot woman. When we got done walking, I said, why did you encourage me to go with her? You know what she's, why you think like that? I said, you know, your culture down here has no problem stealing somebody's man. Why you think like that? She never do that to me. I said, you want me to get on a plane with her and go alone with her for 2 weeks? You think she's going to have me in a separate bedroom? You think that why would she bring just a mere man friend to her family? What is going on in your mind? In the flesh, I wish I'd have gone with her. It would have been fun, fun, fun till Daddy takes the T-bird away. I couldn't believe that. And then when things finally snapped, she came up to me and her friend. She said, you need to divorce me and go marry a Chinese woman. Then you can get Hong Kong ID. Then you divorce her and bring me. I said, you be comfortable with that? Yeah, love. I said, but she'd want to have sex. It's okay. Filipinas are opportunists. I watched them on the internet. Even one that used to come in here with her American friend. They will cheat. They will compromise their morals if it benefits them. Same with Christian women that quote the Bible upside down and backwards. When it benefits them, the clothes are coming off in the dark. Trust me. Nobody wants to hear these kinds of truth, but it's the truth. Americans are more caught up in how people dress than this. Oh, to be sure. Say it, don't spray it, Michael. I have a dark side to me. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? The views are less today. The likes are less today. I wonder how many of these likes are actually by women, if any. Why is it when it comes to men's issues, we're not allowed to talk about what we've been through? We're shunned and ignored and boycotted. But boy, everybody will agree with me about the Democrats and their wicked unrighteousness. Most people will agree with me about the wrong-headed behavior of the African-American community and then calling us all racist. But boy, you talk about women, you're done. Washed up beach whale. I didn't make this channel to be a crowd pleaser. I used it as an experiment. Wow, will people listen to me? Can I put myself out there? Now I'm more of the opinion, let's sell the truth, no matter what. Beth wanted a visa to the United States to be with her friend Susan. It took me 4 years to get that out of her. While I was there, she was encouraging all kinds of crazy thinking. And almost any Filipina will compromise their morals if it's in it for them. And I had to believe that the Asians were so much better, so much different. And I chased Asian women because of what I went through at the hands of white females. The marriage of 14 years, which truthfully sucked. I did not enjoy being married to her after the first week on. But I manned up. I sucked it up at my own peril. I know for a fact in 2026, it's Friday today, praise God. I could dress up like this and go downtown and be hit on by a number of men. Not one of them would move me enough to make me want to take it. Men are hairy, sweaty, and gross. And it's the South down here. Nobody smells good when it's hot. Nobody. I look at the women in the bar down here. I look at the Southern white women. All of them that are pretty are stuck up. Man's got to buy them the alcohol, pay for everything. Women want equality. When's the last time a woman came and picked me up, took me to dinner, held the door open for me? It's funny, when they want their cake and eat it too. They don't want anybody telling them what to do. They don't want anybody controlling them. But they sure as hell want a boss, control, tell us how to dress, tell us what to wear, how to cut my hair, tell me what I can and cannot say. That is the truth. And America's the leader in the world about ill treatment of men by women. Women fought in the ERA movement. Now it's gone extreme pendulum the other way. They're disrespectful to us. They play with our emotions. That stupid song, who do you think you are, running around leaving scars, collecting your jar of hearts? You women are doing that more than we are. Good night. All these women crying in their music about men this, men that. And way back before all this, who's the singer? American women, get away from me. Why did he sing that? Because he saw. Because he saw. People praised Fleetwood Mac. I loved her music until I read something that really bothered me. Music is the Pied Piper to hell. We have to be very careful. The reason American women cling to Fleetwood Mac so much is she represents that fierce, in-your-face independence. She screwed around with Don Henley, got preggers, had an abortion. She said, my music career is more important than a child. My music gives people hope. No, Stevie, this is the only thing that gives hope, not your music. Your music never gave me hope. I like the sound of it because it's emotionally based. And how long did that last with you and Henley? Nothing there now. I talk a lot about praising celebs. Why? The lifestyles of the sinful and gluttonous. Justin Bieber getting DUIs. Britney Spears getting DUIs. Tiger Woods can't keep his vehicle right side up, DUIs. And every woman I've been with will go on and on about the who's who on television and the movies. I'm like, I don't even know these people. I had to tell my wife, 14 years, honey, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't give a crap about Hollywood. You know more about that than this. So what? Yeah, I'm weird. Yeah, I'm different. I'm proud of that. Problem is, I love women too much. I emasculated myself. I'm getting older. The inhibitions are gone. I won't do it again. If I want to run around in my house with a pair of black panties on with an angel's face, I'm going to do it. If I want to wear my chain and my motorcycle jacket, I'm going to do it. I'm going to experience. I'm a tactile man. I'm going to experience things. I'll find out for myself. And the day will come when I don't wear this. It'll be my own choice. But I also do this to prove a point. People think I do it to get views. I do not. It does get views. But again, even on my best day, I don't get the views that any pretty flutie on YouTube will get. Just her showing up in a top like this, that's all she needs to do. That's it. 20,000 views. 25,000 likes. Mike, how do they get more? Because the counter doesn't always keep up with it. I love to speak. I don't want to offend people. I wish that we all want everybody to like us. Who doesn't? I love women. I respect certain things about women. I don't think I'm superior to a female. I never have. But women are not superior to us men and never will be. God doesn't look at things that way. When I talk about stuff like this, I have to turn off chat. There are groups of women that are unable to be objective, will not listen to, entertain constructive criticism. Women consider themselves a goddess, and you will approach them as such. Not me. There's only one God and one Lord and one Savior. And you, honey bunches of oats, aren't him. This whole movement that started, I want a man to treat me like I'm his queen. That's a problem. You're not a queen. You're a woman. I don't have to treat you like royalty. I would never, if I had a daughter, you'll never be my little princess. That's why women do and act the way they act. And many women get saved like I did. They still all have that dysfunctional crap going on. Now they learn some scripture. And they weaponize it. They're going to use it as a billy club to play bossy butt and to control and manipulate us. Make sure you quote all of the Bible to you. The tattoos, all these piercings, dyeing your hair all funky, wild, unnatural colors, dressing and acting like a man. None of the women confront other women ever that come on my channel confronting me about the way I'm dressed. Dare you to go confront the woman claiming to be a Christian, acting male as male can be. You won't do it. And it's funny, if that verse applies to me, doesn't it also apply to her? The Bible, for most women, is a convenience store. They pull up and use it when it's to their convenience. For me, I be true to who I am. And I use this daily because it's not convenience. It is my heart. Not everything I do lines up with this, and I'm man enough to admit it. I have some dark desires. I'd like to have a lesbian girlfriend, not one that looks like Apache, but a beautiful woman. I had an Asian girlfriend. She said, I think it'd be fun if we were married and we had a housemate and we played with her. Who wouldn't want that? I'm honest. It'd be fun. But that's the thing that God says is the flesh. And God doesn't want us doing that. I find that I'm more transparent than 90% of women in America. They cannot and will not be that way. They walk around like they're the yardstick on everything. Who wants to be around a yardstick? I don't. I don't know what the future is going to bring for me on this earth. I live with a sobering awareness that we're perishable. I take that second look before I pull out in my truck. Life is uncertain because of our screwed up society. What if I had a kind man that gave me back rubs and gave me money and took me to dinner? Be tempting. Why not? Women, they want us to spoil them. Do we ever get spoiled? I couldn't date a man. Well, what if a man made me feel like $1 million? What if he massaged me and put oil on me and let me live my life? What if he came along and said, man, I'll give you $10,000 just to sleep with me naked tonight? Ooh, that'd be tempting. Why not? And before you all think that I'm gay, there's things that gays do that I would never do. Anal sex? No, wouldn't. Done to me? No. I've been in the steam room. I've given some men some naked hugs. It felt awesome to be so free that you could hug each other and you're clean. And some people look at me and go, oh my gosh. Transparent and honest is a dying dinosaur in American culture. Notice I said in a shower, in a clean environment. I've loved it when good-looking men flirted with me naked in the steam bath. It was exciting. But the minute I left there and I went back out into society, it's like, okay, that was fun, but it's not who I am. And Christians act like, well, it's like they're trying to force themselves to believe something that and live something that isn't really lining up. God began a good work in me. It doesn't just go from 0 to 60 in 1 second and you're there. I got some crap in me. And I don't want a boyfriend. I get very uncomfortable when guys are pushy on me. Very uncomfortable. Go. Gay is somebody who wants a man only. People say, are you bi? I don't even consider myself that. I consider the power of loneliness, alienation, ostracization by society has neurological effects. I've wanted to go downtown and dress like this. Feels good. Feels even better to go out there and push it a little bit. There's something very freeing about it. Truth is, if I was going to be anything, I sometimes wish I was a woman and was a lesbian. I could have a fun night tonight with some pretty women if I was a lesbian. But as a single man, I cannot get those pretty women, even the ones that aren't lesbian. Do you think that doesn't have an effect on my psyche? So we drown in adult imagery or videos, self-simulation. Church doesn't want to deal with it. All they do is stand up and say, it is a sin. And that doesn't help. Let's add guilt to people. Guilt doesn't change behavior. Guilt does not change behavior. There should be consequences for our sin. Should there be a consequence because you admitted you masturbated? I don't think so. Masturbation to me is a release, and it's the safest thing. You're not out there bonding. You're not out there catching an STD. I love all the clowns that get on my channel and say, you seriously need mental help. No, my mental state is perfectly fine. I need spiritual help. I'd like to see the power of God in me, but this is what people don't understand. Not all of us is going to love God the same way that John loved God. We all have different levels relationally with people and God. The sinfulness of life, the stuff we've been through, can hamper, impact. The Bible even says that the worries and cares of this life can choke the word out. Yeah, I'm guilty of some of that. And we ignore the biggest overriding factor of our life. We're human. God gave you sex drive. And then you get saved, you're told, can't use your sex drive, can't think about your sex drive. The biology and the physiology of the way God made me doesn't just evaporate because I got saved. And you got men and women that want to tell me how to crucify the flesh when they got a hot-looking man or a hot-looking woman. Okay, whatever. You got sex all the time and you're going to tell me how to be holy. That's cute. That's cute. And a lot of people I meet that get on this browbeating campaign, they're not desirable to be around. And they're not helpful. They just want to impress me how much scripture they know and bludgeon me with it. I don't do that on my channel. At least I don't feel that I do. And I've tried to be kind to everybody on my channel. Trolls, no. And women, you have a right to disagree with me. And sometimes I think, how about if I just shut off the chat and get rid of it? I don't want to, because there's a lot of people I enjoy talking with. I get some fellowship with some of you men and women out there, and I need that. But some of you others that want to stand and get offended because I talk about women, and these are my experiences, I have a right to talk about them. You're not going to hijack my channel and tell me what I can and cannot say and then tell me I'm wrong. And I noticed when I started standing up passionately, oh my gosh, you're getting angry. Man, you see my rants, I'm passing all the time. Now it's anger because it disagrees with you. Women like that, if you're doing that too much, I'm going to move you along. It's just, it's not worth it. If you're so offended and I've got to tailor and coach myself, that I am not going to walk on eggshells on my channel. I'm not going to do it. I've been very respectful of women. And women seem to have a problem. They say they want a real man, but they do not. They want a simp. And I'm not. Not anymore. I used to be. Spent a lot of money chasing Beth and other women and marriages, and what a waste of time that was. If I had saved all the money that I had spent on dating and marriages and going overseas, it'd be a lot. A lot. Coupled with the fact I wasn't working, 15 plus months of my life, or 13 months chasing somebody in Hong Kong, that's lost income. Plus the money I spent, yeah. Women will do stupid things just for a woman. I'm getting older, and I try not to do that anymore. I wish God would supernaturally let me become a woman for a couple months, just to observe what it's like, how society would treat me, and make me really good looking, sexy one. I'm pretty sure I'd have more money coming in, more opportunities to date, both men and women, get preferential treatment in the workplace. You better believe it. I know for a fact that would happen. When I wore a dress and my roommate and I went downtown, cars stopped for us in the middle of the block. Men held doors open. Good evening, ladies. You guys look lovely. I didn't dare say, hey, thank you. I just nodded. Don't open your mouth. They'll know you're not a chick. Tina and I were laughing all night long, and they really think you're a woman. I said, do you notice they're treating me better? Now, if I wore my jeans and a t-shirt, they will not stop and let me cross. Nobody will hold the door open. Women will go in and fling the door open and not even hold it. I was at a body cam and let a guy pick me up. Said, we're not doing sex. Be fun to see what happens. Versus me walking in jeans and a t-shirt and every woman in there ignoring me. And women will make comments even downtown. Why does he dress like a girl? The married women, their husbands drinking at the bar would come up, rub their boobs into my chest, right on my leg. I said, ma'am, your husband, he don't care. He don't like to dance. I'm dressed feminine and they're still coming on to me. Isn't that funny? Maybe they got lesbian desires. I don't think things are all as cut and dried as people make them out to be. I think women got more lesbo than they want to admit, and I think more guys got gay than they want to admit. And it doesn't mean you're gay, and it doesn't mean you're lesbian, that our society's so whack that I'm not going to fall in love with a man. But I'll tell you what, if I got off work and a clean, good-looking male wanted to give me a full rub down, I'm going to probably say yeah. But it doesn't happen because I don't put myself out there for it. The men in the South and the whole climate down here is gross. So I live alone. And it's better. I don't really want to sin and displease God. That's who I am. But I admit, there was a good-looking, smooth guy that wanted to give me a complete body massage and a happy ending. I would do it. Because no woman's going to do that. Not in Augusta. They're not. They're not going to do it. And we as people, doesn't matter how Christ-like you are, we don't get our needs met. Why do you think so many women are smoking pot, drinking, doing what they're doing, and claiming to be a Christian? And they'll defend all that. It's really weird, the dichotomy of what goes on. Women will condemn men for looking at their boobs. I'm sorry, but when you're right here and I see all this, I'm going to look. I do look them in the eye too, though. And women vilify and demonize us. I hate it when a man looks at me that way. You're a woman. You weren't made for yourself. And women today in America, high maintenance, highly narcissistic, highly selfish and self-centered, and then they're beating up men for being men. I'm not talking about inappropriate marks or touching. That's not okay. If we ignore you, you get mad. If we notice you, we're pigs. It's just kind of stupid, you know? Thanks for listening. I will always keep it real. That's all I can do. If you like and subscribe, be appreciated. If you want to donate, Pacific Ocean Asia 77. Cash App. If you don't, Lord willing, I'm still going to speak my heart. Have a great day. Be safe.